Hi guys, long time no see, but that also means that I'm back in Thailand. My 4.5 months journey to Austria is over. Who knows the channel knows I'm always going there to help my parents harvesting fruits, and then I have a job during summer. My work there is usually not related to electrical engineering. That's why you don't hear much from me there. But still, this year I did a small project at my cousin's house. So we have installed a small balcony power plant, it is called in Austria and Germany. Those are typically micro PV systems. You can use a 800 watts inverter and solar panels and feed directly into a wall socket. That is very simple. It doesn't require any permissions and very cost effective, and at the end you only have to register it with the utility. So we used two 450 watt bifacial panels, a Heumiles 800 watt microinverter. This was all put on a stand which we built out of wood, just simple and fast built. The panels were facing to the south, and in the back there were just white walls. So a very nice combination, also extremely effective. We installed in September and the system has produced around 6 kilowatt hours of energy per day at that time, which is really great. Here I only have one comparable solar array, and I need around 1700 watts peak to generate also 6 kilowatt hours a day. So very nice outcome there. That was more or less it in Austria. Here in the meantime in Thailand it was very uneventful. Usually, you know, when I'm coming back from my summer stay in Austria, I've always found a lot of malfunctioned equipment, especially with my DIY Powerwall. But last year we have replaced that, as you know, with the day hybrid inverter and two batteries, and they did really great. There was only one hiccup on that system, I will tell you later when we take a look on it, but everything else worked out perfectly fine. So the garage hybrid system, no issues. My 8-year-old off-grid system as well, absolutely no issues. And grid inverters working still, every one of them. Good, so yeah, I will be back here now in Thailand for the next 8 months. We will have some project and work to do. Last year the focus was on extending battery storage with the implementation and rebuild of the new Powerwall. This year will be more focus on optimizing the PV systems. I will just tell you about it when we take a small walk. Yeah, here at my Powerwall, as I said, the Powerwall worked flawlessly. Even my temporary roof here survived the rainy season. No problems with the batteries. Inverter, I just told you I had one hiccup during the time, but I also know why it happened, because it happened also before I left once. What actually happened is, you know, it's just firmware related. I'm sure you saw the video when I installed this. This is a grid parallel installation. I'm just removing excessive energy with this system. And this is a 10 kilowatt inverter. And that means that usually all the parameters are set and built for a 10 kilowatt energy flow through the inverter. But in my case I have here a holiday resort, and sometimes at the grid there could be quite heavy loads. So this could be upwards of 20 kilowatts in case that all rooms are occupied and maybe an EV is charging. And this would of course be shown here on this grid meter, and you know, the scale here will show you up to 10 kilowatts, and then it will be just red, and you know it will rise because it's showing the energy going through the CTs which are there in the main distribution board right next. What happens is that if this meter goes beyond 20 kilowatts, so double of the amount of power which the system, the inverter, is actually built for, it is kind of confusing the inverter. It doesn't mean that now 20 kilowatts is going through the inverter, of course not. But I think that the engineers they had some kind of protection feature in mind, because the inverter will then switch into a sort of safety mode and not continue to invert. This is usually no problem because it happens at a time of high demand, and yeah, the only thing you need to do is wait until the demand drops again to a safe level, and then you just restart the inverter and it will just work fine again. It's just happening, as I said, quite a few times during the course of a year, so I'm not concerned about it. You know, this could be easily fixed with a firmware update if they would decide to do so. Yeah, the 33 kilowatt hour batteries proved to be really great. I can fill them up during the day when it's a sunny day and use all the energy if it needs to be. So I've set them to discharge again back to 17% state of charge. That would equal kind of like 26 kilowatt hours of energy per day. So what I want to do now is open up these two battery packs, because you know I have here a hot and humid climate, and not just that, there is one enemy as well here which I need to consider, and these are the small ants. What I want to do is just take a look if maybe some ants found a way into the packs, and let's just see if there's damage. I have put this time this kind of ant baits here, and yeah, usually I cannot see ants around much anymore. I think it helped quite a lot to remove all these critters here. And perfect. Oh yeah, it's like brand new. Nothing inside. No ants at all. No signs of humidity, corrosion, or whatsoever. Perfect. By the way, the packs are now quite well balanced, even if it's a passive balancer, but you know, after many months this works quite great. Pace BMSs are really great working BMSs, high quality, so no issues whatsoever. I can close up this one, check the other one. Just as information, in these 5 past months this Powerwall system has removed actually around 600 kilowatt hours each month, or 3,000 kilowatt hours, 3 megawatt hours of energy, and put back into our reservoir during the night. So this is really great. It's about double as much as I could do with my old system. So it's turned out exactly how I was hoping for. So yeah, what's going to happen in near future here? So first of all, I want to finish the Powerwall area there. The temporary roof will be replaced by a permanent solution, of course. And in the same step, I will add a new PV array up on the carport roof, because typically I do have enough PV to run everything here, but of course not during the times of peak demand or during the rainy season. This will be a kind of special array because there are some challenges, but you will see how we will solve them. Then the other thing is that now I have one array which is running on a string inverter, but that string has been completely compromised by obstacles which are casting shade on it. That area you actually already know because it did have microinverters before, but those microinverters were the cheap WVC which just blew up in less than a year. At that one I will again install a microinverter, but of course this time a good brand. Another electrical project will be adding a third EV charger. So during the high peak season we do need more EV chargers already, because Thailand now has picked up quite quickly with EVs on the road, and we do have sometimes guests who have to charge at the same time. Then, last but not least, I do have a big project in mind. It is all planned out already, but I still want to first have your opinion on it. So we're going to talk about it in a separate video. And yeah, that's actually then it. Of course, there will be always some ad hoc content, because it's never-ending issues sometimes here in this climate. But as the situation is now, everything is really as reliable as it could just be, and all those weaknesses from the past are at the moment at least gone. Optimization is the topic of the next video season, let's call it like that. So if you don't want to miss of what is coming next, just please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and activate the bell icon, so then you will be informed as soon as the video is uploaded. So I hope you found this interesting. Please leave a comment on the down, and I see you at the next one.